Hello students of Standard 9. Welcome to the e-learning classes of DAV Moyle Public School. Subject Science. Our today's topic is why do we fall ill? And subtopic is infectious diseases. Infectious agents. We have seen that the entire diversity seen in the living world can be classified into a few groups. This classification is based on common characteristics between different organisms. Organisms that can cause disease are found in a wide range of such categories of classification. Some of them are viruses, some are bacteria, some are fungi, some are single-cell animals or protozoans, while some diseases are also caused by multicellular organisms such as worms of different kinds. Common examples of diseases caused by virus are the common cold, influenza, dengue, fever, and AIDS. Diseases like typhoid fever, cholera, tuberculosis, and anthrax are caused by bacteria. Many common skin infections are caused by different kinds of fungi. Protozoa microbes cause many familiar diseases such as malaria and Kala Azar. All of us have also come across intestinal worm infections as well as disease like elephantiasis caused by different species of worms. Why is it important that we think of these categories of infectious agents? The answer is that these categories are important factor in deciding what kind of treatment to use. Members of each one of these groups, virus, bacteria, and so on, have many biological characteristics in common. All viruses, for example, live inside host cell, whereas bacteria very rarely do. Viruses, bacteria and fungi multiply very quickly, while worms multiply very slowly in comparison. Taxonomically, all bacteria are closely related to each other than the viruses and vice versa. This means that many important life processes are similar in the bacteria group but are all not shared with the virus groups. As a result, drugs that block one of these life processes in one membrane or members of the group is likely to be effective against many other members of the group. But the same drug will not work against a microbe belonging to a different group. As an example, let us take antibiotics. They commonly block biochemical pathways important for bacteria. Many bacteria for themselves make a cell wall to protect themselves. The antibiotic penicillium blocks the bacterial process that builds the cell wall. As a result, the growing bacteria becomes unable to make cell wall and die easily. Human cells does not make a cell wall anyway, so penicillium cannot have such an effect on us. Penicillium will have this effect on any bacteria that use such process for making cell walls. Similarly, many antibiotics work against many species of bacteria rather than simply working against one. But viruses do not use this pathway at all, and that is the reason why antibiotics do not work against viral infection. If we have a common cold, taking antibiotics does not reduce the severity or the duration of the disease. However, if we also get a bacteria infection along with the viral cold, taking antibiotics will help. Even then, the antibiotics will work only against the bacterial part of the infection, not the viral part or not the viral infection. Means of spread. How do infection disease spread? Many microbial against or agents can commonly move from an affected person to somewhere else in a variety of ways. In other words, they can be communicated and so are called communicable diseases. Look at the given image, which gives us clear idea about the means of spread of disease. Such disease causing microbes can spread through the air. This occurs through the little droplets thrown out by an infected person who sneezes or coughs. Someone standing close by and breathing in these droplets and the microbes get a chance to start a new infection. Examples of such disease spread through the air are the common cold, pneumonia, and tuberculosis. We all had the experience of sitting near someone suffering from a cold and catching it ourselves. Obviously, the more crowded our living conditions are, the more likely it is that such airborne disease will spread. Disease can also be spread through water. The occurrence if the excreta from someone suffering from an infection gut disease such as cholera get mixed with the drinking water used by people living nearby. The cholera causing microbes will enter new hosts through the water they drink and cause disease in them. Such diseases are much more likely to spread in the absence of safe supplies of drinking water. The sexual act is one of the closest physical contact two peoples who have with each other. Not surprisingly, there are microbial diseases such as syphilis or AIDS that are transmitted by sexual contact from one partner to the other. However, such one partner is sexually transmitted disease are not spread by casual physical contacts. Casual physical contacts involve handshake or hug or support or sports like wrestlings or by any of the other ways in which we touch each other socially. Other than the sexual contact, the AIDS virus can also spread through blood-to-blood contact with infected person or from an infected mother to her baby during pregnancy or through breastfeeding. We live in an environment that is full of many other creatures apart from us. It is inevitable that many diseases will be transmitted by other animals. These animals carry the infecting agents from a sick person to another potential host. These animals are thus the intermediaries and are called vectors. The most commonest vectors we all know are mosquitoes. In many species of mosquito, the female need highly nutritional food in the form of blood in order to be able to lay mature eggs. Mosquitoes feed on many warm-blooded animals, including us. In this way, they can transfer disease from one person to another or person to person. Organ-specific and tissue-specific manifestation. The disease-causing microbes enter the body through these different means. Where do they go then? The body is very large when compared to the microbes, so there are many possible places, organs or tissues where they could go. Do all microbes go to the same tissue or organ? Do they go to different ones? Different species of microbes seems to have evolved to home in one different part of the body. In part, this selection is connected to the point of entry. If they entered from the air via the nose, they are likely to go to the lungs. This is seen if they enter through the mouth, they can stay in the gut link like typhoid causing bacteria, or they can go to the liver like the viruses that cause jaundice. But this needed always be the case. An infection like HIV that comes into the body via the sexual organ will spread to lymph nodes all over the body. Malaria-causing microbes entering through a mosquito bites will go to the liver and then to the red blood cells. The virus causing Japanese epicentris or brain fever will similarly enter through a mosquito bite, but it goes on to infect the brain. The signs and symptoms of a disease will thus depend on the tissue or organs which the microbes targets. If the lungs are the target, then symptoms will be cough and breathlessness. If the liver is target, there will be jaundice. If the brain is the target, we observe headache, vomiting, fits, or unconsciousness. If we can imagine what the symptoms and signs of an infection will be if we know what the target tissue or organ is and the function that are carried out by this tissue or the organ. In addition to these tissue-specific effects of infectious disease, there will be other common effects too. Most of these effects depend on the fact that the body immune system is activated in response to infections. An active immune system recruits many cells to be affected tissues to kill off the disease-causing microbes. Thus, recruitment process is called inflammation. As a part of this process, there are local effects such as swelling and pain, and general effects such as fever. In some cases, the tissue specificity of infection leads to very general seeming effects. For example, the HIV infection, the virus goes to the immune system and damages its function. Thus, many of the effects of HIV/AIDS are because the body can no longer fight off the many minor infections that we face every day. Instead, very small cold can observe pneumonia. Similarly, a minor gut infection can produce major diarrhea with blood loss. Ultimately, it is these other infections that kill people suffering from HIV/AIDS. It is also important to remember that the severity of disease manifestation depend on the number of microbes in the body. If the number of microbes is very small, the disease manifestation may be minor or unnoticed. But if the number is of the same microbe large, the disease can be severe enough to be life-threatening. The immune system is a major factor that determines the number of microbes surviving in the body. We shall look into this aspect a little later in this chapter. Now it's time to check your knowledge about today's topic. Here are some questions as your assignment. I hope you understand today's topic. We again meet with new video. Till then, stay at home, be safe, be happy.